Well, thank you. 4 years ago, we had seen something that we had never seen in American history. We had a president, Joe Biden, that opened the border and basically declared that people could come illegally. Interior enforcement was rendered basically null and void, and this was impacting not just the southern border region of Texas or Arizona, but communities all across the country, including in the state of Florida. And so 4 years ago, we were sending people to the southern border to help supplement state efforts to try to mitigate the damage. And our Operation Lone Star saw more than 1,000 national, state guardsmen, state law enforcement officers go to Texas to assist the state of Texas in stopping this border invasion. We also, being a maritime state, we are vulnerable to having illegal boats coming and bringing illegal aliens onto our shores. This was particularly pressing when you had issues in Haiti bubble up even more, and there was a lot of issues that people thought was going to lead to a mass migration into the state of Florida. We launched Operation Vigilance Sentry. We deployed more than 250 officers and soldiers from Florida Division of Emergency Management, State Guard, and other state law enforcement agencies to patrol Florida's southern coast. That was supplementing what the Coast Guard is already doing, but because of our efforts, we were able to bring about more than 17,000 repatriations and almost 500 vessels removed since that time at the end of 2022. And we worked together with the Coast Guard on that, but that has been a huge, huge positive for us. Of course, our state efforts didn't end there. We were involved in illegal alien transport, similar to what Texas was doing, so that sanctuary jurisdictions were having to deal with the issues that the open border was bringing to other communities. And we were really on the front lines of that all 4 years of the Biden administration. Enter the 2024 election and the election of President Trump again. Border security and immigration enforcement was perhaps the signature issue of the president's first campaign in 2016 and this one where he got reelected. So we saw an opportunity to have a much different relationship with the federal government as it relates to immigration enforcement. So immediately I instructed our state agencies to engage in what are called 287G agreements with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which basically leads to our state agencies being able to exercise authority in the immigration sphere to supplement and cooperate with the federal government. And we know that ICE had a rough run under Biden for 4 years. A lot of the things, this 287G program was effectively dormant. Certainly the task force model was dormant. So we did that. So you had Highway Patrol, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Fish and Wildlife, all those agencies signing agreements. And I think you now have, I read a blurb that you have like 500 agencies, law enforcement agencies across the country that now have these agreements with ICE, and about half of those are in Florida, state and local, which we're really, really proud of. We're also, though, not just stopping with law enforcement. We've also done 287G agreements with regulatory agencies in Florida. Our Department of Business and Professional Regulation, Division of Alcoholic Beverage and Tobacco, the Florida Gaming Control Commission, and the Florida Lottery all operate in what we would consider target-rich environments. During their routine inspection and investigative duties, special agents are oftentimes in contact with people who may be in our country illegally. So we think deputizing those officers in regulatory spaces is going to be another source to lead to these immigration enforcement efforts. Now, when President Trump was preparing to take office, I called a special session of the Florida legislature because I knew that we needed policy in Florida that would require all state and local agencies, law enforcement, to participate in these efforts. We're not a sanctuary state. We ban sanctuary cities, but that just means you can sit on your hands. Yeah, you can't sabotage the efforts, but you were under no obligation to be on the team. We had to battle some of the folks in the House of Representatives in Florida, but we were able to get that done. And so now all 67 counties have 287G agreements with their sheriff's departments, and we're adding more and more police departments each and every day. So Florida's really led the effort there. Some of these agencies would have wanted to be a part of the fight. Others would have rather not have been part of the fight, but because of our legislation, they are all, in fact, a part of the fight. and this is something that's been really, really good. And there's been a lot of great enforcement efforts leading up to Operation Tidal Wave, but this has been the first of its kind throughout the United States. This is the largest immigration enforcement operation that we've seen in quite some time throughout the entire country. Florida state agencies assisted federal authorities to arrest over 1,100 illegal aliens across the state. That is a really significant impact, and we're demonstrating why we're going to continue to lead on this issue. And you see some of the people that were arrested there. These are people that should have never been in our country. Some of these people had been previously deported. Some of these people had been alerted on the Biden administration, but this is something they didn't want to have to do with it. So our folks have worked hand in hand with DHS to really, really make a difference for the people of Florida and for the people of the United States of America. Because I think when you're dealing with people, millions and millions of people here illegally, you see some of these folks who have huge, huge problems in their background, with their conduct, and really put our communities at risk. It's important that the law is enforced. It's important that those people are taken care of. But what it also does is sends the message going forward, the United States of America is serious about enforcing its immigration laws. So whereas under the previous president, you could pay coyotes and come to the border knowing that you'd be home free once you got there, there's a new sheriff in town. That is not going to be permitted. And I think that's one of the reasons why you've had the largest drop in border crossings in American history during President Trump's first 100 days. And so this has been night and day in terms of our state efforts working with the Trump administration. I think it's going very, very well. That was not necessarily the case under the previous administration. What I'd also say is this. We have the best emergency response team in the country. Our state agencies are very versatile. We have both a National Guard and a State Guard who are used to responding to different types of contingencies. We're ready, willing, and able to take it to the next level. We have submitted plans to DHS to say, if this is approved, we will go off to the races, and we will be able to do really from soup to nuts, from apprehension to detention, even putting some of our people in the National Guard in line to serve as immigration judges to process this. We can do it. And I'd also say, you hear a lot about due process. We have tens of thousands of illegal aliens in Florida at a minimum that have already been issued final orders of removal, and there's hundreds of thousands of them throughout the United States of America. So they've had a lot of process. They've been ordered to be removed. They have not complied with those removal orders, and that's a very, very high priority for our state efforts to continue to identify those individuals and make sure that they're returned to their country of origin. So I want to thank the federal agencies that have really led the way. It's been a welcome change here in the state of Florida, and also thank all of our state and local partners who worked really, really hard for this operation, but have been doing this now for many months, and we're proud to have been the first state out of the gate, but we view this as just the beginning. We think that the best is still yet to come. So thanks for everyone that's been involved.